How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Marvel Snap video. White Widow comes out today. Super excited for this card. It's a 2-drop 2/2 if you haven't seen her yet, with an on reveal. Add a Widow's Kiss to your opponent's side of this location. And Widow's Kiss reads, it's a 0/0. Ongoing, this has -4 power. Disable this ability if your side of this location is full. Now by your side, it means your opponent's side. You're going to play White Widow. Your opponent is going to have Widow's Kiss. They're going to read this. They're going to want to fill up their location to get rid of it. So some people were a little confused on the wording. It's your opponent's side, not your side, that needs to be full. So I have 4 decks for you guys. The first one, let's get into it. Clog, White Widow. This one going a little all in on the Clog portion of Widow, with Titania, with White Widow, Green Goblin, Debris, and then, and Darkhawk. And then trying to take advantage of those full locations with Professor X Cannonball. Professor X Cannonball has been one of my favorite kind of combos in a long while now. So I have to plug White Widow into one of these types of decks. The curve here, you're looking at Nebula turn 1. A lot of times you're going to want to hold Titania, but Nebula turn 1. And then you can White Widow on turn 2, maybe even play Jeff or Ravana if you have your Professor X in hand. Ravana is only here to discount both Professor X and Green Goblin. Turn 3, you can play the Goblin, you can play Magic or Debris. You really have a lot of play lines. There's not one set line here. But if you're going in the Clog lane, if you have a Professor X, maybe you play the Green Goblin and try to steal a lane away with Professor X. Turn 4, gonna play a couple of your cheaper cards, maybe a 3-drop and your Titania. Maybe a good time to drop her then. Especially if you have Titania out, you can play Professor X and just lock down the lane and don't have to worry about her bouncing back and forth. Turn 5, you're looking to Darkhawk, Professor X, Cannonball, whatever it is. And then turn 6, if you have a big Red Hulk, you're going to play that. Otherwise, Cannonball wins a lot of games on turn 6. Cannonball being 5 costs is kind of insane. So this is the deck that I'm going to try right away. I'm really excited for this one. I really like the Professor X Cannonball kind of a package with White Widow, and I'm of course excited to play Clog decks. I think with things like White Widow and Green Goblin though, a lot of people are going to be playing Annihilus, and one of the best ways to counter Annihilus is with Annihilus. So this deck by Safety Blade, it's kind of the same idea with the Professor X Cannonball, with Ravana, Nebula, that early stuff, some Clog with Green Goblin and Debris, but instead of playing the all-in Clog stuff with Titania and Darkhawk, and then Red Hulk, you're playing more of an Annihilus package. You're playing an Annihilus package with Hood, with Sentry, Annihilus, and I think you're going to do a little bit better against other White Widow matchups with this one. You're going to be able to bounce that Widow's Kiss back and forth. A lot of people I think are going to be playing Annihilus, so you're going to be able to combat that Annihilus. Professor X, you'll be able to lock down lanes before their Annihilus goes off. Possibly get a Professor X on their -10 Sentry lane if you can fire that off early. So I think this is going to be really good to counter a lot of the decks that you're going to see on day 1. So definitely have this one saved in your deck list if you have everything to run it. You may not need Cannonball to run. You can probably run like a the point, I was going to say you can run Darkhawk, but at that point you're kind of just running this list that we're covering next. Darkhawk Bounce. The original list here I think ran Red Guardian, which is a 3-drop. Instead of that, you're running White Widow here. Slightly less effective, but a better bounce target and a cheaper card to just play. So you'll be able to bounce White Widow, add another thing to your opponent's side of the board. They're probably going to fill it, so there probably won't be -4 power at that point at the end of the game. But when you bounce it with Beast, it'll be one drop instead of a 2-drop, and that's kind of a big deal when you're trying to play a bunch of cards on the last turn. Has the Darkhawk package with Korg, Rock Slide, obviously Darkhawk, trying to get as many rocks in your opponent's deck, and then all the bounce stuff and the newly buffed Angela. I've been having a blast with her and Kitty Pryde again. It's been a while since we got to see both of them, and I've been having a blast. This deck has been played, has been proven, so nothing really new here, but I think just a good deck that she slots into. And I think the last kind of sleeper deck that a lot of people aren't going to be playing her in is High Evolutionary. I think you kind of go this negative power package with Abomination. It gives your opponent another negative power minion, creature, card, whatever you want to call it, on their side of the board with White Widow, so you can get Abomination off even quicker. This list going more all in with the Hazmat Luke Cage. You can't even swap out, like, I don't know, Man Thing or something, maybe Man Thing for a Moon Girl if you want to go more all in on Abomination. I think with White Widow, with Hazmat, Scorpion, Cyclops, you're gonna have a lot of negative power on there fairly consistently, and duplicating Abomination I think could be pretty consistent to do and to actually pull off. White Widow also gives your Cyclops just another target. That way you're not throwing Cyclops on an empty lane. You actually have something there for sure. I think it just makes this list a little bit more consistent. Not that it wasn't consistent before, but it just brings it up just a little bit. Doesn't break it or anything. Again, you don't have to run Man Thing. I like Man Thing just as a card, really fun to play, but you can play Moon Girl. You can go more all in on like the debris kind of list where you're trying to get more targets to Hazmat, maybe go a little bit more Clog in that direction. But I think High Evolutionary is just going to fit really well, because the more shit on your opponent's side of the board, the more things you can afflict with negative power. So quick video today. Wanted to go over the 4 lists that I'm going to be playing with on day 1 on White Widow. I haven't been this excited for a card for a while. Should have probably been more excited for Cannonball now that he's one of my favorite cards in the game. So give White Widow a try. Is she worth buying? I don't know. She has the potential to be extremely good, and also the potential to, you know, just not be worth the 6,000 tokens or the caches if you're low on them. I'm going to be opening her, obviously, but she's not one of those buy immediately cards, so I'd probably hold off a little bit, see what's going on Twitter, if people are liking her, how she's performing on Untapped and just deck stats and stuff before you buy her. But definitely really excited for this. I do one of these deck videos every week for every new card coming out, so if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Also, for those of you who like my bundle videos, tomorrow night there's a lot more data mine bundles. I'll be going over those tomorrow night. There'll be another video up, I guess it would be tonight. There'll be a video up tomorrow for you guys, but more data mine bundles. So far they've been accurate, so I think I'm gonna go over all of them for you guys and let you know what I recommend. So as usual, if you love all things Marvel Snap, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the bell. I'll see you in the next one.